Recording has started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Wreckage, an Apocalypse World series. This is episode 1, and we were organized through the Gauntlet, an online gaming group. Okay. Now, Richard, you were going to introduce your character?
Yeah, first I'm Richard, he him pronouns, and I am playing a quarantine named Val, and or it's actually Valentine Carter. Um, and yeah, I have pretty hazy memories of what exactly went on before I came out. Those Some of those will probably emerge as in play, but otherwise, it's I'm uh, I'm surprisingly not combat oriented. Um, Although still fairly well armed. But yeah, and I think everything else will kind of come out.
Yes, and with your, your stasis equipment, the facility can double as a functioning med lab, so I
Right.
think you're the closest thing the group has to a medic.
Yeah. I kind of thought that might be the case.
And let's see, you came out of stasis just a few weeks ago, and your compatriot Tammy Jackson is still missing.
Yeah.
All right, let's play to find out what Val thinks of this new horrible world. Uh, David, are you ready to introduce your character?
Yeah, I think so. So I'm going with Miss Saffron. She is a Maestro D, who I think she runs kind of a mostly a bar, but I'm thinking also like cage fighting and bordello situation. Natural,
Nice mix.
marriage. Yeah. Um, yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'm David. I don't know if I said that, but I go by he, him. But yeah, do you need anything else? I don't know. It'd be
Uh,
interesting.
let's for your establishment. Did you? What was your main attraction? Was that uh
Yeah, I have
fights?
drinks.
Ah,
I think yeah, so it's mostly a bar, but with the kind of the cage fighting and the other stuff or what brings those rubes in so they can buy my drinks.
alrighty. Just making a note of that on your character sheet.
Cool.
And what could you select the three or four of the atmosphere for your establishment? You can just write that down there in the gear custom barter notes section. And while you're doing that, Jim, are you ready to introduce Tamash Lyman?
Sure, to some small extent. So, he, him, by the way, is running. I got to run it. Tomasz Liaison. It's also a he, him. Uh, he's the he is the news. Um, Modeled somewhat after Citizen Z. If anyone knows Z Nation. Um, And I do have a beginning of the session move whenever you want to do that, just so you know.
I think we'll do that after the introductions. I think, yes,
Okay.
Valentine has one as well. I
Yeah.
don't think Saffron does. All right. And um, Tamash, you
Hmm.
have your, what is it called? Studio. You have some options to select there. Also in the playbook there.
Oh, I
Uh,
hadn't gotten that far yet.
yes.
Uh, um, it makes a little difference that I have that we have. I think. Um,
Yes.
let's see, studio makeshift building. Um, right, and I was thinking since we're not a real we're not a real hard party. I think I want the dedicated security force. Which is a small gang, and and strong walls.
Sounds nice.
Oh, let's see. Let's pick a complication. That sounds like it's fun. Um, it's it's relatively well defended for a studio, but it's also a well-known location.
Okay. Making a note of that. So studio.
Um, right, and it sounds like I need to name some NPCs here as
Yes.
well. Don't have some off the top of my head, um, but let me let me go scout around for that. Maybe I can get back to you on that.
All
Do you
right.
have a good? Do you have a name generator?
There are some example names on that the basic moves reference on page. What page is that? Uh, 12. Page
I'll find
12.
it. I'll find it. Okay, great. Because I'm in the extended playbook PDF right now.
Oh, did you see what the main attraction was for your station?
I didn't. I
All right,
glossed
you can think about that.
over that. Um, um, yeah, let me. Since I actually forgot that I was having a station, let me. I'll have that before I have the NPC names.
All right. While you think about that, Dan, can you tell us about Amy?
Sure. Hello, I'm Dan. This is my first time playing Apocalypse World. By the way, I played other
Oh, me too, Dan.
people. Yeah. All right, cool. And I'm excited. I love the setting idea. I just watched season 4 of The Expanse, so I'm very in this mindset. Um, Amy, she goes by Sundown. I'm picturing her as former crew on one of the whatever crashed on this planet. She is sort of clinging to the past a little bit, so she wears her old uniform and still has some armor from her EVA suit. She is a brainer. She didn't show up like that. She was infected by an alien virus, which gave her these powers. And she is sort of a reluctant possessor of these powers. I was trying to imagine, is there a physical characteristic that she has when they activate? And I think the whites of her eyes change colors. And that's about all I got. I've got some. The playbook asked me to pick gear, but again, I'm sort of interpreting this as I've written down the gear as written, but I'm kind of interpreting this as kinds of expressions of the alien virus, if that's okay with you, Kyle. So,
Yes, that's fine. But the to be clear, the when everyone crashed, that was a while ago, at
Okay.
least 50 years. So your character would be have to be pretty old.
Okay, she is not old. So I'm going to say she scrounged out some of this stuff. We'll leave it like that.
That works.
That's good to know.
Okay. Now I don't think I had any other questions for Valentine, so let's go back to Saffron. Did you have a chance to look over the
Yeah,
establishment?
some-
Yeah.
got some more details down there.
Excellent.
So
The atmosphere. Yeah. You were saying?
yeah, we're on the same page. The atmosphere I chose is there's violence, nudity, protection, and the cage. So I'm kind of thinking the cage is. I mean, and everyone feel free to X card, but I'm gonna go hard on this. I think it's like the cage is like, oh, there's fights, but also two people can just do it in there too. There's always like a thing going on in this weird cage, and also you're not supposed to. You're definitely not allowed to like fight or anything in this thing unless you're in the cage. So that's where the protection kind of comes in. So it's almost like a safe space, but you're watching people beat each
So
other.
instead of stepping outside, you step into the cage. When you
Yeah,
have
exactly.
You.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Now you mentioned the main attraction is the drinks. Where do you get your drinks?
I think maybe she's got some kind of apparatus going that like a distiller kind of like makeshift that I'm thinking maybe she inherited because one of the other things is who do I owe for it? I chose someone named Gams. I think maybe that's where I got this distillery kind of situation going in the back or something. So it's kind of the only way to get alcohols through here. So that's what she's capitalizing on.
So you're pretty much the only sorts of drinks for the settlement.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice monopoly you got there.
Of course.
Oh, Valentine, I meant to ask, how close is your stasis facility to the settlement? Is it just next door, a long walk? You're muted?
I'd say about half a day's walk.
Sounds good. And so it's well hidden, so you don't do many people know you've got the medical facility back in there, or are you keeping that secret for now?
For the moment, it's secret.
Okay. Tamash, have you had a chance to look at your studio?
I have. I'm still working on the names. I need 6 NPC names, so it's taking me a little while. Yeah. So my station is sort of golden oldies and interviews, or things confusing music from that I've scavenged from the past, with funny things in it like lakes. What the heck is a lake?
That sounds nice.
And other things that are not on this planet. No one. Well, maybe Quarantine has heard of them. Quarantine will actually be one of my guests. I definitely want to have him as one of my guests, or not Quarantine, Valentine.
And it's a well-known location. So is it? Where in town are you, or are you in town at all, or are you on the outskirts?
Are we? Is there a town?
There's some kind of settlement.
Okay. There's yeah, it's there's a rise with something that's kind of like sort of a natural defense, but small. And in fact, the station used to be one of those xenobiology stations that you mentioned that
Okay.
was in a good place, and has been fortified with the usual kind of crap to make it a little more secure. The detritus that I found on old pieces of heat shielding from ships I've transpicked in.
Sounds pretty good. Okay. So that actually brings me to the a few more questions about the town. So, if there's a heart holder, if one of you were playing a heart holder, you would normally get to have a bit more voice about the town, and you'd be in charge of it. Since no one's picking that playbook, there's no clear leader of this town. There's just some different factions, different groups, but no one in overwhelming authority. But the thing we got to decide is, what are people wanting the settlement to be like? Like, are you isolated or a fairly large group? What are people thinking?
Well, if we've been here 50 years, then maybe there's one or two generations after the initial folks. And I don't have a good sense of why or how we were exploring this part of space anyway, but it could have been kind of a generation ship or some kind of colony ship, in which case it might have had thousands of people on it. And even if only a portion of those folks survived, I think maybe a fairly large colony or settlement would, or let's say sort of in the few hundred or maybe thousand people number.
What if we did something like a boom town that's come up around a ship that recently came out of orbit? So it's and it could be that, like, my stasis pod is a part of that vessel that was kind of flung free.
Does that sound good? I think we lost Jim for a bit, but hopefully he'll dial back in. So yes, the planet was settled after. Okay, Jim's dialing back in now. Hello, Jim. Welcome back.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to. I had to log out to change my display name.
Okay. Right.
So what were you saying, Richard, about being like a trading post?
Like a boom town. Like I'm thinking like there was a ship that didn't crash, but was in a like long-term decaying orbit that finally made planet fall. And so it's like it's like when a whale dies and sinks to the bottom of the ocean. All these people have shown up to pick it over.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
Yeah, well, definitely that's helped me out, because my it's not like one of these things I hear about in these old songs is like this thing called the internet, which seemed to not use. I don't know how they use that to communicate with the founders. So this radio gear.
Let me make this pitch, maybe sort of going off that. What if it's so if it was like a battle in the orbit at some point, maybe this like kind of where we are coming from, like I guess our ancestors were from this colony ship that was kind of like in this battle. Maybe it was like an ambush set up. Like they knew this other faction or something of Earth, I guess, was going to try and settle this planet, and that's where the battle was fought up in this orbit, and we're the descendants of the survivors of that colony ship. And we have all these legends of, oh, those people who ambushed us are coming back eventually. We got to be that ancient enemy that ambushed us are on the way back. We got to be vigilant.
Eternal vigilance. That'll turn things up.
All right, sounds good. Now, one last thing before play starts, we need to go around and set up the relationships. So, starting with Valentine, what are your relationship questions?
Okay, hang on. Let me. Okay, so first one is which of you did I meet first when I emerged from stasis? So any volunteers? Anyone interested in that relationship?
Sundown, you mentioned you do some exploring inside the settlement. Could you have run into him?
Yeah,
With
that
him?
sounds reasonable. That I was wandering and came across this collection of stasis pods.
Okay. So right now that puts me at who was that? That was Sundown?
Yep.
Okay. So that puts you at +1 and everyone else at -2.
All right, and while we're with you, go ahead and roll for your weird stat. So roll +4.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I already did that. I'm at -1 weird.
Okay, so you were able to receive the psychic maelstrom
Yeah.
without succumbing to it? Excellent.
Yep.
And that brings us to the other, your past. At the beginning of each session, roll +sharp. On a hit, you get to ask me one of the following questions, and I'll answer it.
Okay, so my sharp is +1. So
Actually, let's save that past question for after everyone does the.
oh, okay. Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so
Yeah, that's probably better.
moving on to Saffron. What are your questions?
Yeah. So, first one here is, which of you do I find most attractive? It's always a fun one. I have an idea, unless anyone wants to volunteer. Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like the new person in town would be pretty enticing. I think I might give that to Carter. And
all right, yeah, that's fine by me.
yeah, so that gives me +2 with you. And my other one is, which of you is my favorite? Again, I'm leaning towards someone else, but if anyone has any ideas, let me know. I think Tomash seems like maybe we're both like just no bullshitters. I at least appreciate that about him.
And you both run establishments in town, so you've got that much in common.
Yeah. That seem okay with you?
Yes.
Cool. In that case, I get +3 with you, and that leaves me with +1 with Sundown.
All right, Tomash, what are your questions?
Okay. So I actually ask you all a question. Um, let's see. No. All right. I'm actually going to have your person names here. So, yes. So, Val,
Yes.
can I count on you to?
You cut out there for a second. What was? Can you count on me for what?
Well, can I count on you to tell me the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and now I go. Now what I do? They say yes, cool. So I write HX plus 1, I guess, next to your name.
Yes.
So, plus 1. Okay. And Miss Saffron, which is who is Miss Saffron? Oh, Saffron.
That's
David.
me.
Okay. Can I count on you to tell me the truth?
Oh, interesting. I'm tempted to say no, but I guess yeah, probably yeah.
So let me just check because I had an interesting move. Oh, I got rid of it. I almost took the no bullshit move, which makes you tell me whether or not you're telling me the truth. But I gave that up. Maybe I'll get that as an improvement. Okay, let me write that one in. Actually, no, I'll write that here. Okay. Amy, raise your hand. Amy, which one is Amy? Okay.
Dan is Amy.
Amy, can I count on you the truth?
Not at all.
Okay. So that's.
I am so confused by all the brainwave activity that I don't even know what is true anymore.
So let's see. No. And finally, and okay, that's it. So that's
All right, Amy, what are your questions?
So I've got 3 questions. I can ask 1, 2, or all 3. I feel like I want to just ask 2 of them. I'm going to ask this one first. Which one of you most evidently dislikes and distrusts me?
Wait, who's asking? Who's asking?
I can ask
Who's asking?
the group and whoever volunteers.
No, I'm sorry.
Amy?
I'm back and forth between watching you all and the character keeper. Well, given that you've caught my notice by saying you're not trustworthy with that description.
Okay. So Tomash, you get HX plus 3 on my sheet.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm going to ask which one of you have I been watching carefully in secret? My inclination is Val, since
I'm good with that.
Basis. Okay. And Saffron, I automatically get a 1 with you. And that's it.
Okay, time for the start of session moves. Val, time for your past roll.
All right. So that is plus #. sharp, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we'll go ahead and roll that. And that is a 7.
All right. On a hit, you can ask one of the following questions, and I'll answer it.
All right, I will go ahead and take a look at those questions.
Kyle, can you put the since I logged in and logged out, can you put the die roller back in the chat?
Yes. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, some of these don't seem to work with our setting, but I'm gonna ask, who did I lose?
I think, I think you lost your commanding officer. Let's pick a name for them. Monk. Your commanding officer, let's call him Captain Monk, was, yeah, you'd worked with them for years. You knew them. You trusted them. If anyone could have seen you through this bizarre world of wreckage, it was them. And yeah, you saw them go through explosive decompression. They're gone.
Okay.
And let's see, who has the most HX on Val? I believe that's Sundown.
What does that mean?
That means you get to highlight. Oh wait, Saffron and Sundown both have +2 with Val, so you get to highlight one of their stats. So Val get an experience point anytime they roll with the highlighted stat. So just pick the stat you think it would be interesting if they rolled.
Is it? Do we both decide together since we both?
One of you has to pick. Val, who do you want to pick?
Who was it? Saffron and
Sundown.
Sundown. I will go with Sundown.
I was going to say hot.
Okay.
Saffron, do you object? Cool.
All right. I picked the other one, and I think I'd like to see Val roll. Let's go with cool.
All right.
All right, Saffron. You don't have a start of session move, but let's see who has the most HX with you. That's
It looks like Tomash, I think.
all right.
I have 1.
Yeah, not a lot of HX with Saffron.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I thought it was. Wait, is it the HX that I have with them, or that they have with me?
I thought it was what they had with you.
Yeah, I do always confuse that. You're probably right.
Mm-hmm. So am I still picking then?
Yes. You pick which stat you'd like Saffron to roll.
Okay. Well, let's see. So you're. I'm gonna pick. I have no idea how to pick this, so I'm gonna pick cool because I think it's always someone. It's be interesting in situations where you have to be cool, given that you're a bar owner. And also, I don't actually even know what any of these stats really do, other than not played Apocalypse World before. So
Well, that works.
I can guess, but
I'm gonna pick hot for your other one. All right,
I'm
Tamash.
cold.
Okay, so Saffron and Sundown both have +3 with Tamash. So, who would you like to highlight a stat for you?
Um, um, but you sundown.
I can highlight stats all day long. I am going to. Uh, I'm going to say weird.
Okay.
All right, and for your other one, I'll pick Sharp.
All right.
Okay, now Sundown.
It's Tomash as my.
Excellent.
um, um, hmm. Wow. So Brainer has a higher weird than Sharp.
Yes.
Interesting. Um,
The Brainer isn't the tech savvy one. They're the strange one.
um, okay. Well, I picked low for one person, so I'm going to pick high for you. So I'll pick weird.
Thanks. Kyle?
And I think at least one person should have hard highlighted, so I'm picking that. Oh, and Tamash, you've got that sort of session move.
Right. So it's called Breaking Now. The beginning of the session, I roll plus sharp. And it's already have that. It's just oh, it went away. Oh no, it didn't. Submit. No. Why am I rolling d10s? I should be rolling d6s. Sorry. Um, 5. So let's see what I get here. Definitely on a miss. I asked once, where is someone and what are they up to?
And since this is the first session, you're welcome to just hold on to that for now, so you can bring that up and play anytime you want, or this session,
Huh.
if you'd
Well,
like.
do you want a chance to make up an NPC and what they're doing, or do you think it'd be more fun
Uh,
to wait?
sure, I can make up an NPC.
Um,
Let's see. How about uh, let's see. There's a scrapper or salvager named Cinder, who's some kind of mutant and does a lot of scavenging. Tends
uh-huh.
to bring in some of the rare items. There are a group of traveling mercenaries and thugs. You can ask about them, or I could come up with some other NPCs if you'd like.
Um, so no, that's fine. So where is Cinder and what is he up to? They up to?
Well, one of your informants. Let's pick one.
They're,
Harridan.
mhm.
Came into you just a little bit ago and let you know that Cinder was just seen walking into town a few minutes ago with a sled full of gear. And, no one's sure where they've got it from, but they're coming into town with just, it looks like, more electronics than one person can carry. And this is high grade stuff. It's, maybe not the find of a lifetime, but at least the best one you'd see all year.
Uh-huh. Well, now everybody knows that, which I'm sure it's probably fine for Cinder.
Okay. And as you make that announcement, Cinder is making their way into the market, hauling their big sled full of salvage behind them.
Oh,
Uh,
so I get 1 XP for that because I rolled on sharp.
yes, you do.
All right.
Who else is in the market when Cinder arrives?
I'll be there.
Makes sense. Do you spend a lot of time in the market, or how do you spend most of your days?
Um, I like. I think that what I've managed to do is. Well, I haven't quite figured out how I spend most of my days. In as my character hasn't, but Val has gotten by basically counting on there's a certain magnetism and an interest in him that gets him a night or two that people will put him up, and then there's just something kind of a little uncanny and off-putting about him in the long term that means that like he never is able to stay any place for more than a night or two. And during the day he's mostly either like mysteriously disappearing from town periodically or hanging out in public spaces.
All right then. If anyone else wants to show up in the market, it's a public place, and you've all heard about the big sale going on, so you're welcome to show up anytime you'd like.
Well,
Cinder.
I would like to show. I got kind of a. Well, I don't know if I've been broadcasted, but I'd like to show up. I have a generic interest, gear. I guess everybody does.
Absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. It's been you put some music on. Yeah.
So
Sorry,
Val, yes, I know you because I have a history a little bit, and you're there too. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So, what were you? Were you like a columnist, or did you have a?
I don't have.
I was lost in the character keeper.
Oh, okay.
The beginning during introductions.
Yeah. I don't have clear memories of exactly what I was. In fact, the way that I'm looking at playing it is that I'm not really able to access memories at will. When they're relevant, they come up.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm wearing fatigues and I have guns and, stuff that looks pretty high tech. So I was likely some kind of military.
Huh. Great. Well, so I ask you, does any of this stuff look familiar to you? I don't know if you roll for that or.
Well, do you want me to make that call or do you, Kyle?
You can make that call.
All right. Well, yeah. Let's see. Is that are you the person I told I would always tell the truth to?
You. I mean, you could be lying to me, but
Yeah. No, I know. So let's see. Well, yeah, on a lot of it is from the scattered wreckage, and so of the ship that my pod was part of, which those details I'm keeping relatively to myself. But yeah, I can recognize a lot of stuff.
Uh-huh.
Actually,
Or
well,
are you still? Are you talking to me, or are you just like kind of
No,
figuring this out.
I'm picking it over. You can. I'm like pointing out a couple. Like I'm like, okay, that's a that's a biaxial converter. That's the this. That's and I'm kind of able to point stuff out. As I'm doing that, what I'm looking for is any like. I'm trying to see if anything sparks a memory is like deceptively valuable that I might be able to, finagle. Because I feel like I have a little bit of inside info
All
on
right.
what this stuff might be. So I'm like scanning over what's being laid out to try and see if there's anything that
Well, these are popular goods, so there are a lot of people, hollering and clamoring for different parts. So, go ahead and roll to read a sitch. That's plus sharp.
okay. That is an 8.
All right. On an 8, you get to ask one. I'd recommend what should I be on the lookout for?
Yeah, yeah.
And you notice you notice one bit of electronics. The casing is pretty badly burned and weathered, but that's just the outside. You take a peek inside, and it looks like pretty much all intact in there. And it's some useful equipment. It could probably help out with your stasis facility, or really, I mean, it's a nice bit of like it's a CPU basically. You could any of the electronics in town. It's pretty valuable, and it doesn't look like much. You could probably get a deal with it.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to work something out with somebody else because I have no resources. So that's what I'm gonna kind of be doing. That so
Uh,
who is it that's there? Tomash was that who was there with me?
yes.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna kind of like take you aside and say that like as we're looking and under in a low tone, I'm gonna say that is a processor that we could really use that I could really use if I can help you to pick out some choice goods here. Will you help me out? Help me get that?
Um, yeah, I'm not sure where I know what. I haven't looked through my playbook about in terms of what I actually have.
Let's see. As
Um,
the news, you start with oddments worth one barter. So that's just the barter is the currency in this game. It's so you've got some odds and ends and things worth roughly one barter.
uh-huh.
And as you're thinking that over, Val, Cinder actually reaches out to you and sort of grabs onto the like sleeve of your shirt, your fatigues,
Okay.
and this is probably the closest you've gotten to Cinder so far. And you thought they were wearing gloves because they're sort of black, that look like leather gloves, but that's just their skin. You'd heard they were some kind of mutant or something, but yeah, the skin is like pitch black, looks almost scaly in places. It's kind of unsettling. And
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I'm not. I like mutants and that kind of stuff is very very new to me. So yeah, I can't help but kind of pull back a little bit.
uh, Cinder holds her hands up like no panic. Just is good clothes, good fatigues. Yes, I want trade.
Um, I make a show of looking over. over the pickings, and what what are you willing to offer?
Oh, you can see my works here. The lots of good salvage, rare salvage. Found them in far places, hard to get to. Bring them all back, sell them for much barter. But yes, you've got fine fatigues there. Very nice. Look good.
All right. I will. I will give you this shirt for that, and I point over at the processor.
I know, not so fast, my friend. Not so fast. Um, I don't know if you had your comm on. Um, um, oh gosh, what's his name? Cinder. Cinder. I don't know if you had your comm on, but the reason why you immediately have all this eager throng here is because I did a little of your PR for you, and I'm wondering what you would want for that processor unit.
Always like barter or good clothes. Good clothes hard to find. Not much fits. And they sort of gesture at themselves, and they're on the fairly tall and thin side, so it's roughly the quarantine's build. Yeah. Good clothes, good food, drink. Ooh, yes, yes. Pay for a night at Saffron's.
Well, Saffron's actually one of my advertisers. So we have a relationship. Well, at least I think we have a relationship.
You can get me into Saffron's? Yes, yes. Get me night with Saffron's. Processor yours.
Okay. Well, I think I can do that. Let me go talk to her.
All right.
And
we can let's cut over to Saffron.
mm-hmm.
Where are you right now?
Yeah, I'm probably in that bar, the establishment.
Does it have a name?
It's probably just called like the Cage or something. Yeah, probably just the Cage. I bet.
The Cage. Okay.
Wait, isn't there like some kind of what's that called? It's like a scientific term, like some kind of cage.
Faraday
cage for scientists. Yes, the Faraday cage for sure. Thank you.
Oh. Well, let's see. The Greek word I think is chelate.
And Amy, would you like to be here as well, or what's Amy doing while this is going on?
I really freak out about crowds, just given all sort of the passive brain activity that I can pick up on. But I believe I was skulking around the outskirts of the market because I'm keeping an eye on Val. I've taken, like most of the camp, I've taken a special interest in Val, given their recent arrival, and because I was the one who stumbled across their pods. And maybe this just occurs to me, maybe I'm having trouble reading them. Like I'm just not getting a signal from them. My brain or powers are not working on Val, so I'm finding that curious. So if they're heading over to the cage, the Faraday cage, I'll head over that way as well. And again, I'm reluctant to go in just because there are generally a lot of people in there, and I'm not well liked because my powers are somewhat known maybe around the camp. But I'm let's just call me for now curious as to sort of how all of this is going down.
All right. As they get near the cage, Saffron, you've got a bit of a commotion up front. It's Rolf Ball. He's back, and he's really once into that bar. You can see him. He's like got the detox sweats. He needs a drink, and he needs it bad. And having a bit of a shouting match with the bouncer up front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think she has this thinking like a machete or something kind of situation. She kind of just sighs and gets that from out under the bar and just kind of stomps over to the front where Rolf Ball is, and just to the bouncer, just like, okay, I got this. She's just kind of has like her hand on the hilt of this machete situation. She's like, Rolf Ball, baby, you know the rules. You're in the cage. You're supposed when someone taps out, that means they're done. You didn't listen to that rule, you can't come in here. I told you.
I know I got barter. I got goods that sell as well as anyone's. And that means you should let me in here so I can pay for my frickin' drinks.
You know what? I love your money, but you know what's more important? Your fucking word. And you didn't do it. I post this on every fucking wall. You can't read? That's going to be a problem. And more than that, you can't listen. Someone taps out, that can get dangerous, I love seeing the fighting, seeing the fucking in the cage. Both are fun. But if someone gets killed, that's a whole different situation. And I can't trust you right now. You're gonna have to stay on timeout. I don't care what thirsts you have, but you can't state them in here, okay? Why don't you mosey on back home, make a show yourself.
You say you can't trust someone, and then I might get someone killed, and then you go and piss me off. And Rolf Ball starts reaching for like a knife. Not pulling it, but the hands drifting closer to the knife, like the belt.
And she kind of takes a step back and just like looks down and just like, hey, you're on timeout for a while, but if you want to get banned for the rest of your life, keep going.
Okay. I think you're going aggro on someone to basically threatening the ban, pretty much. So go ahead and roll hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Pretty good. What's my hard at? Yeah, 12 total.
Oof. Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
you bring out the lifetime ban, and Rolf Ball just sort of wilts, like, ugh. Can I at least get a bottle before I go? I won't go in. Just give me something here. I'll pay for it.
She's like, you know what? I think the price just went up, and I don't think you can afford it.
He grumbles and throws you a good old stink eye, and then just sort of wanders off into the crowd as the rest of you arrive.
So who's coming? Tomash.
Hey, Saffron. Hey.
And I think if when Tomash comes in,
the other well-known people in the settlement here.
Yeah, I think when Tomash comes in, she kind of just yells out so that Rothball can hear. It's like, oh, look, someone who I can trust, someone who knows the rules. Interesting. Welcome in. Have a seat. Take a drink. And she like kind of closes the door, I guess, and goes in.
Absolutely. It's one of my
these
favorite
kids.
Favorite establishment on the broadband. How are things?
Yeah,
how are things, Saffron? You seem in a good mood.
And I think she's just like leads you to the bar, I guess, and then maybe there's like people fighting in the cage right now too. But I'm assuming it's kind of the middle of the day. I don't know if that's been established, but there's not a lot of people, but like still a pretty good amount. But the people fighting aren't really. They're just like nobodies. They're kind of just maybe they're just too drunk and they're just kind of like like barely fighting at all. She kind of maybe she gives you like a shot or something. And she's like, "All right, Tomash, how you doing? You're
Wow, thanks. I appreciate. So, the everybody knows your place, and my my buddy
Cinder.
Sprocket. No, what? My buddy Cinders is back. Is my buddy Cinders back in town? He's got quite a haul. I don't know if you were listening to the comms earlier today, but I don't know where he got it. It's looking pretty nice. So wondering if you could put him up tonight. Just he distributes things.
Yeah, and she takes a shot herself, and she's like kind of gives like a look. She puts like her hands on her hips, like I don't know. He's a weird guy. Is he fighting?
Yeah,
or
but
fucking?
you handled. I mean, the way you handled that last one, the guy. I mean, we've. All right, so this isn't. Yeah, you're not. You're not prejudiced, are you?
I'm a businesswoman,
I mean,
if he wants to fight, that's fine. I've been telling him he'd be pretty good, but he wants the other thing, and that's harder to arrange.
Hey, I'm not asking for. I mean, I know you don't give just because someone's free services. That's not. But if you could, give him a place. Let him stay in your fine establishment. Get him us all. I'll announce how wonderful. In fact, I'll even the show to have him say how well he was treated.
Sounds like you're trying to manipulate someone. Go ahead and roll hot.
Okay.
I'm going to interfere on that.
All right.
All right. And I
hey, Quarantine. I am doing this. I am doing this to make it to give it to you. By the way, I didn't quite say that. I'm taking your.
Oh,
offer.
all right. Well, then I'll back off.
So, well, you can interfere on my part.
Well, I can help. I automatically succeed on that with the 10 plus.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my character. But heads up to everybody as far as like how my character plays. I'm really good at helping other people, and if you help me, you get experience.
Right. Well, I rolled snake eyes.
Well, that does us no good.
So you can double it up to 4, but we are. I fell flat on that one.
So as you're talking this over, the regular Toyota pops over, and she's like, "What's this I hear about you letting Cinder in here? Oh, come on! Don't let that freak come in and stink the place up."
Well, I don't know. It seems like Tomash had something valuable he was about to get to. I heard something about exposure, that was a funny joke, but
Keep your pants on, lady.
It's bad enough they let Cinder sell stuff in the market. We don't need to let him in here. This is like the one good place in town. Come on.
I'd rather sniff Cinder's butt than your earwax.
Toyota, like, mouth is like,
Toyota, go
"What?"
park yourself. Go park yourself somewhere else, Toyota.
Oh, you trying to start something?
I'm not stepping into the cage.
Well, you come in here and you compare someone to that mutant freak. You better be ready to step into that cage. Or are you all talk and no
Um,
action?
And I think Saffron just does like the Kermit thing, like drinking this tea. Like, none of my business.
okay. Right. The eating the popcorn.
Mhm.
Well, Toyota, everybody knows that for me, talk is action. You know, and I don't see why Saffron lets you come in here and try to um, undercut their business by bad mouthing their customers. And I suggest you stop.
Well, hang on a second there, Tomash. She comes in here way more than you, so she's got a say in this. And like I was saying, she's just agreeing with me. Putting him in the cage or even, up in the beds upstairs, that requires a premium. She's not the only one that has a problem with, that type. Now, I'm not prejudiced, but I got to look out for the bottom line. And just some extra ad time on the airwaves isn't going to help me out too much. And she's like, here, and she pours like another little shot, and I feel these are just like, like there's like cracks in them and everything, and just like slides it over, and she's like, why don't you take some time, calm down, think about it, talk to your mutant friends, I guess, if you want, and come back with something that I can actually use.
All right. And on that note, I'm gonna call a bit of a break. We'll meet back up at the top of the hour. And yeah.
Oh, okay. This character. Oh. So, which store are you going to? Oh, you're going to Supremo? You're going to Supremo, you said? Uh huh. Well, I was just thinking about what were you thinking of getting? Were you getting some specific ingredients, or just hello? What were you thinking of getting? Hello, can you hear me? Wasn't really thinking about what I wanted, but I figured there was probably something.
All right, I posted the link for the Roll for Your Party back up there.
Oh, I'm in a different place now.
Yeah, Dan and Richard logged out and logged back in to change their names.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's have to do that.
I mean, this has been one of the I don't know. StreamYard seems to be one of the preferred video chat thingies, at least from what I hear.
Uh-huh. Well, it seems very simple.
Something to be said for that. All right, since
Yeah.
we're back
I
together,
wasn't saying that as necessarily a bad thing. But,
all right, Sundown. You were sort of drifting on the edges of that conversation. Uh, but as you were listening in, you see a stranger approach you, and you know most of the people in town, so this is a little unusual. And you also notice they're wearing what looks like a sort of pieced together uniform, kind of like what you wear, really. And you know they look at you like they can't quite like he can't quite believe what he's seeing, and it's like, is this sister? Are you? Do you wait faithfully?
I missed what you said. Do you?
He says, sister, do you wait faithfully? And you
I
can tell
wait?
this is some kind of like code phrase. Yes, wait faithfully. It's like a code phrase or something. And you're not quite sure what it is, but you have a sort of instinctive urge that you could figure out the response if you rolled to look into the abyss. Or gaze into the abyss.
Oh, interesting. Uh, okay. Are you talking about opening your brain?
Yes, sorry.
That's totally fine. Yeah, I'm going to. I'm suspicious, but I will kind of want to see where this goes. So I will. Where'd my roll for your party go? So I open my brain is rolling plus weird, and I've got 2 for weird. So I'm going to re-roll my 2 selected, and I got a 3 plus 2 is a 5.
Ouch. Well, at least you get a. That's your highlighted stats. You gain 1 experience point.
Great.
And as you open your brain to that, you try to puzzle it out because you know there's a response he's looking for, and you can almost sense the pattern. And as you open your brain, you suddenly get visions of this voice just blaring right into your brain, like, we are the forsaken, we are the abandoned, but we can still repent, we can do better, we can earn our salvation. Together we shall wait, and we shall watch, and we shall serve until rescue comes, until we are lifted off this wretched hell planet, until we again ascend into the heavens. Repent, repent, repent.
She is conflicted, or I am conflicted because, on the one hand, I feel like this virus is a curse, and that maybe I've gotten it because I've sinned and I need to repent. And on the other hand, she doesn't like people, so she wants this guy to get away from her. So I think her instinct is she's curious, but her instinct is to go aggro and tell him to get away from her. When I go aggro because of my direct brain whisper projection, I can roll plus weird to get the effects of going aggro without actually going aggro. So victim has to be able to see you, but you don't have to interact. So I'm sort of imagining her kind of getting intense. The whites of her eyes change color as this direct brain whisper kind of emerges. Sound okay? Can I roll for that?
Yeah, that sounds good. Go ahead and roll.
And I rolled 5 plus 2 is a 7.
All right. So you can choose one of. You can either force their hand and either you force their hand.
They can choose to force your hand or to cave, but they can also choose instead to fight back or make a break for it. So basically, he's saying it's forcing me to kind of do something to get them to go away.
Yeah. Yeah, this guy's gonna force your hand.
So I didn't say what I would do if they don't, which I think is kind of what the point of this is. So I think I will actually go aggro and push him away from me.
The rule says if the victim forces your hand, your mind counts as a weapon. 1 harm, armor piercing, close.
Okay. I must hold that.
So you're gonna hurt them with some brain whispering, just sort of a brain shout. And now, do you think this is this gonna? It's loud optional, so you could tell like the whole crowd get like a overhear this, or it could just be this guy.
I think because he's forced my hand, I'm starting to actually articulate and scream in a way that's unusual for me. People are used to my skulking around, but they're not used to my being loud. So this sort of scream is very startling, and I feel like I'm starting to attract some attention.
All right, so you just sort of do that brain whisper to get him away, and he's like, ah! He sort of shouts out because it's hitting him harder than anyone else. And everyone's turning to look at this, and it's like, a heretic. You wear the vestments, but you do not hold the scriptures in your heart. You vile apostate.
Sorry.
I be warned. Your days are numbered, and there will be no forgiveness for those who strike against the faithful.
Snap. At this point, she starts to back away and is, I guess, now becoming aware that other people might be looking. So she's sort of looking around to see who might have noticed.
And I think the rest of the party's here if you want to interact or anything.
I Why don't I do this? Since I'm not really well liked, I will say that I look like Val is kind of the closest person that I have to an ally in really the whole camp. So I sort of look pleadingly at Val, like, please help me with this, deal with this person who's attacking me. I perceive he is attacking me, even though I attacked him.
Okay. All right. I will come over and kind of try to just like twist his arm up behind his back and walk him away.
Already? He's not directly fighting. 'Cause he's still got that ringing in his brain from the psychic scream.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not directly resisting you, but he's just sort of like thrashing around and flailing in general. So I'm gonna ask you to do something under fire to just manage him and get him out of there.
Okay, that plays right into my hands. Even with a +3, I got a 6.
Ooh.
Well, you get XP at least.
Yep.
So you try to manhandle him, and he like thrashes out and manages to get in a lucky hit and just like sort of cold cocks you across the face, and it's not quite in like the you know what? Go ahead and take 1 harm. Just as like, unhand me, heretic! This whole town's a vile den of apostates and heretics and sinners. None of you will be saved. None of you will be rescued into the holy heavens.
Is this actually going on inside the establishment?
It's right
Or is
outside.
it outside? Yeah.
You've got a bouncer out there who's probably not especially happy about this.
Yeah, I think I might do that. I think
Well,
so. Oh, go ahead.
I could see the bouncer in a place like this. Actually, there's a fight outside. Part of the bouncer's job is to bring the fight and have them have it in the cage.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought. I think maybe he ran to go get Saffron. She kind of comes out as this kind of, I guess, sort of like fist fight situation's happening, right? And then we had kind of this scream and maybe like psychic scream reverberation happening. So she's maybe like if this is the movie, it just turns and she's like just standing against the wall and she's like, "All right, you two done this? What's going on here? You causing a big commotion. You could have cheers going on in there if you want to bring it in. Otherwise, take it the fuck off my property."
Oh, I will leave, but we will return. The faithful flock will always come back, and when we return, you will finally see what you have missed, and you will know yourself as sinners, wretched and foul.
If you want to show us how sinful we are, why don't you come in here?
Yeah, he's just gonna sort of like spit in your general direction and storm off.
Okay, I'm going to follow him.
Okay.
I want to put him on the show. So I'm sorry, Mad Sir. I'm sorry, Angry Sir. I didn't catch your name.
Oh,
Which is
yes.
true here.
He hadn't said so far. I am Hugo.
Hugo, you have clearly you have some special nerve. I'd like to invite you onto my broadcast program and have you tell my many followers about this.
You would let me preach the holy word across the airways.
If that's what you call it, yes.
Yes, of course. Yes, that would be wonderful. Excellent. Yes.
This will be fun.
So we're gonna cut off to do that, but before we go to that scene, does anyone want to do anything else back at the cage?
I'm curious what happened to the processor device. Is Cinder still holding on to that?
No one's bought it off him so far.
All right. Cinder's probably back. Yeah. What do you think? Cinder's probably like holding that for me now because he's waiting to hear what.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get cleaned up.
Okay. So I'm gonna say to Cinder, I need to work to convince him a little bit. You can come to my place tonight. It's up there on the rise. We have a little bit of space. It's very safe. I think we might have some clothing.
I could, yes, but perhaps I stay with Valentine? Yes? Valentine have place?
Oh. Boy, you're his answer.
Picking the wrong guy.
Oh, that sounds good. You could make a direct trade that way,
Yeah. Well, if I had a place.
Don't you have like a hut or something like that?
No, I got nothing.
You don't have like a coffin or something that you woke up out of, or?
Oh, I'm not taking him to the stasis pods. There's a bunch of high-tech equipment out there. No, I'm the part of my playbook is that I have no resources. I have to figure out where I'm going to stay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I essentially have. I'm couch surfing.
Whatever that looks like on this planet.
Yeah.
So the reason why I was asking is I've got, again, because of my playbook, I've got barter to play with. And so I was just going to, after the commotion died down, just try and buy the process. Since I knew Val was interested in it, just try and buy the processor from Cinder.
Well, no one's made them a great offer so far. I mean, Tamash has made some promises, but hasn't delivered so far. So if you, with a bit of manipulation, yeah, you could get the processors off of them.
Yeah, but if your manipulation rolls are like my manipulation rolls, you're not getting anything.
Hang on, let me just see. Well, my hot is shit. So, well, I
can help with that roll.
Well, I'm trying to do this on the down low.
That's what he said to me.
So, I've got casual brain receptivity, so as part of my powers. So, one thought I have is I can use that to read a person. So I roll plus weird to read a person, and I can maybe learn something about him that would help me with that transaction. Alternatively, I've got receptivity drugs, which tagging someone gives you +1 hold if you then use a brainer move on them. I'm not exactly sure. I guess +1 hold is like +1 forward. Is that what that is?
Not sure exactly,
All
but
just means it's
the
something.
casual brain receptivity would definitely work.
And it's exciting. All right, so I'm going to roll plus weird.
I'm actually looking for someone like you, Sundown. You could be one of my. You could be one of yours.
I could be one of your little, what are they, little birds? All right, so I'm going to roll, and I'm going to roll better this time. So I'm rolling plus weird for my casual brain receptivity. I feel like roll for your party is not working because this one die here has always rolled a 1.
Huh.
So I'll stick with my 4.
You're highlighting both of them.
I'm highlighting both of them. Reroll selected. Oh, there. Now I rolled a fucking 10. Okay, so it's okay. I'll stick with the 4 because that was my first roll. Plus 2 is I rolled a 6. I'm terrible at my powers.
If Valentine's helping, that can bump up to a 7.
An 8 actually.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't follow the fiction, but I'm curious. How are you helping me?
Well, I think I might need to. I'm trying to get a read on what this guy wants from me. I mean, I know he wants my shirt, but
Is Cinder he or she? I thought Cinder was she.
Cinder is a they.
Oh, excuse me. What is it? Okay. Sorry.
So I was going to try to read Cinder, and then that I might be able to use that to as a pretext to manipulate, to help with this manipulation.
So maybe I'm observing you ask questions or something like that.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you want me to make a read a person?
I think we can go ahead and let's settle the Sundown's roll first.
Okay.
So I rolled a
8.
So that
with my help, it's an 8.
Yeah. All right. So I hold 1, and so I will ask the question: how can I get your character? Or how can I get Cinder to sell me the processor?
As you're looking at Cinder and you're pushing out some of your stranger senses, you get a read on what Cinder really wants, and it's not just about the coming in here selling the money. It's not just the barter that they want. It's they're trying to buy respect. They're trying to get like a nice night. That they want to go to the cage and have drinks with everybody else and not just be that like freak mutant. So if you offer them something, some sort of like respect or at least a nice night in town, that would be one way. And another thing is when you look at them and you really like puzzle it out, the whole buying the shirt thing, that was Cinder's incredibly awkward way of trying to flirt with Valentine.
So I say, Cinder, I hear people's thoughts. I know what they're thinking. The people in the cage, they don't want you there. They don't see you as a person, but I see you as a person. And there's a establishment on the other side of town where they're more accepting. They will look at people like you and me, and they will they see us as people, as full people, not as mutants or infected or heretics. They see us just as we are. I think you should go to that side of town, and I can put in a good word for you there. I don't know if I'm telling the truth or not, but this is the story that I'm saying. I can put a good word for you there, and you can have a really fun evening. But I can't do that unless you sell me that processor.
Is nice place?
You know, it's a place. We're on a planet far from Earth, so it's as good as it gets in this town.
Yes, deal, yes. Bring me to the nice place, and you can have this place, this piece.
The good place. I'll bring you to the good place. I will. Do you want me to? You want to trade some stuff? I've apparently got some ottomans worth a certain amount of barter. So.
Yeah, Cinder will trade one barter for the processor.
Sweet.
And Valentine, you know that's a really good deal. I'm not sure if Sundown knows, but
yeah, I don't even know what it is. I just know Val wants it. So I'm going to lower my barter. I'm going to add random ass processor.
As a aside, I think what I'm thinking is that this is the thing I need to get another section of the stasis going.
Do you feel like if you plug this in, it'll help restore your memories too?
There's an archive that I might be able to access. Right now, all I have is the med bay.
So, if I can do it in a surreptitious way, I hand the processor to Val.
all right. Yeah, I don't think Cinder's paying a ton of attention to that, so you can just hand off the processor. And
All right.
yeah, the three of you head off to the nice place. Now let's cut over to Thamash interviewing the stranger at the station.
All right. So, what was your name?
Hugo. I am
Hugo. And you're here to talk to us today about a god. Which one? What's their name?
I'm here to speak with you about I'm here to speak with you about the heavenly fleet that forsook us here long ago, for we were wicked and unclean. But if we are righteous and pure and serve faithfully, they will return and lift us off this wretched hell.
Oh man, you stole my. I think any of our listeners would certainly be interested if there were a way to get more, to go back to those fabled planets where we were from, where who knows even why they left. Maybe there were problems there, but then now where is here? Do you want to name this place?
There were no problems in the heavenly orbs. Everything was paradise and eternity.
Really? Why do you think they came here then?
We were sent here because we were wicked.
So our ancestors, your ancestors and my ancestors, were banished here, sounds like.
Yes.
Well. And so what kind for us to be?
We must serve the great Sky Prophet, for only he knows the protocols that will return the heavenly fleet to usher us off this world.
Huh. The Heavenly Sky Prophet. Is this any who is this? Where is this Heavenly Sky Prophet?
He is to the east, but he is coming soon. He has heard of this great station, and he too wishes to broadcast his prayers and commandments through the airs, so that the whole world may hear and obey and sing with him as one.
We definitely have this open mic feature, so he's welcome. He um, he is welcome to come.
And as you're asking Hugo these questions, I think you're reading a person. So go ahead and roll sharp.
All right. So let's see. I'm pretty sure I'm +1 on that. Okay, how do I roll this? This one on sharp. By the way, it's 2 XP. So I'm going to try this selecting the dice and re-rolling them.
That's right.
Okay, I got a big 6. I don't believe I've rolled above a 5 yet tonight.
Ouch. All right. On a miss, you get to ask one question anyway, but be prepared for the worst.
Okay. All right. So, and this is, am I going to read a sitch? Read a person?
Read a person.
Read a person. Let me look up those questions here. I mean, here's the question. I don't know if this is under read a person. Is there anything I need to watch out for with this guy?
Yes, absolutely. You get the impression that Hugo is just the vanguard. There are a whole bunch more of his religion coming, and I mean, this is the guy that's in the head. This is the personable one. So
Hugo, if people were following the good lives, how would that change their daily lives? Like before we all get rescued by the glowing spaceships.
The Sky Prophet would reorder all in order to better adhere with the protocols and the standard operating procedure.
Okay, and those protocols, are they fun?
There is nothing more joyous than serving the heavenly fleet.
Okay, so great. So when I go have sex in the cage, am I serving the heavenly fleet? Just as an example.
Fraternization among fleet officers is frowned upon.
Oh, are we officers now?
We are all part of the fleet, though we are shunned for our wickedness.
Ah, okay. Wow, I'm actually really pretty partial to fraternizing myself. I'm wondering if we can get any listeners calling in. I don't know if we even have that technology.
So yeah, some people are gonna get some contacts and some questions, and he continues to respond with like the fleet is all good, the Sky Prophet is amazing, and everyone should obey him always. And as that conversation goes on, not really. He's pretty much just doing the complete obedience to the Sky Prophet over and over. That appears to be the one main tenet of his.
I was trying to get him to say something specific. Will we still be able to eat the candied sour plants that we all?
Yes, that is fine. The Prophet cares not for petty matters as that.
That's
So as
good.
that
Well,
conversation.
by the way, would you like one?
Uh, no, thank
Yeah,
you.
I pull out.
I have
Well, I
other
actually have a little
concerns.
pen right
As the conversation goes on like that, let's cut back to Saffron. And there's a problem. The local grain merchant who sells you the stuff you distill pretty much, he's late with his shipment.
Hmm. How late?
Uh he's usually, let's see, his name is Rice. You know what? Yeah, he's Rice. He grows rice mostly. Uh, and he was supposed to be here yesterday, and he still hasn't shown up.
Hmm. All right. Um, well, yeah, I had an idea to do something, but this kind of works out because I'm gonna. So I have a little gang. I haven't named any of them, but maybe just like I don't know the nominal leader, who maybe we'll name later. Um, where she's like just kind of leaning on the bar and just and probably Toyota's still there, I guess. And she kind of like to the head bouncer guy, like, come over here. She's like, Grace is a bit late. I need you to do me a couple favors. Um,
Of course, ma'am.
yeah, I want you to go find him. Um, he's not usually this late. I don't like it. Just gonna don't want to cut into business, but find out what he's doing. But number two, um, that that freaky guy out there who was talking about I don't know, trying to start a fight, causing commotion. New to town, I don't like new faces. Sometimes I do, but sometimes this time doesn't seem to look good. I like that Valentine belt, friend. Anyway, um, I want you to find out what you can about them. Um, and behind the scenes, I'm going to try to use this fingers in every pie. I was thinking, to try and dig up dirt on this Hugo fella.
Absolutely. Go
And I
ahead and
guess,
roll hot.
yeah. And I think as just the secondary thing is, and when you're done with that, go get Rice, bring him back. Well, let's see.
So, are you focusing on information about Hugo or Rice?
I think she's focused on the information about Rice. Yeah.
Okay.
Or no, sorry, Hugo. I reversed it. Yeah, the newcomer, the religious person. Oh, maybe she's been listening to that broadcast. Maybe she turns that off right before she brings this over. So I don't like this talk. This is gonna like these sins and sinners. Heard enough about them to not like them. But yeah, I guess I'm the opposite of everybody. Everyone else is rolling here. I also roll incredibly well. I think the same thing as last time, but even better. So like 12 to 13, I guess.
He's stealing our good rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and
Yeah.
actually, I misnamed the move too. I'm really dumb. It was everybody eats, even that guy is the move I'm using, where you dig up dirt on people.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
All right. So on a 10 plus, you get to ask 3.
Yeah. So the one I really wanted to ask was, how could I get to them physically or emotionally? And this is Hugo.
Okay. Yeah, you're listening to this interview, and Hugo, he talks a great game. Like the Sky Prophet frowns on fraternization and drinking on duty, and duty never ends. And he's preaching this very sort of puritanical life. But you can hear, like, deep down, he sounds like a man who really wants a drink. It's,
Mhm.
the fanaticism to cover up desire.
I can work with that. Um, let's see. Um, I guess let's see. So I get 3. Okay, so And how are they doing, and what's up with them? I guess is number two.
You're looking around the bar, and you know, there's not a ton of interest in amongst the people. There's not, people inside are just like, what is this guy? On the other hand, you know that the town well enough. There isn't really a major power leader. There's, it's distributed. There's no. If someone came in with enough goons, yeah, maybe they could take over.
It's getting worse and worse. Perfect. And then finally, let's see. About when next should I expect to see them?
Uh, they'll they say they'll depart, or he's gonna leave, but he says he'll be back in about a week, with more of the faithful to spread the word.
Gotcha. Okay, so I think um, figuring that out. I think if I can, if the bouncer guy is still here, she's like, actually, you know what? Why don't you go talk to that Hugo fella, and why don't you bring him one of these? And maybe it's like the equivalent of like a 6-pack kind of thing. Like they're probably just like recycled like water bottles or something. And she's like, why don't you give him something on the house? And tell him there's plenty more where that came from here. If he ever wants to see the sinning life, maybe preach a little bit to us here. Who knows?
Yes, ma'am. Right away. And don't forget, you get an experience point for rolling hot.
Oh yeah, good point. I did forget about that.
And before he leaves, the bouncer mentions that apparently the word is that Rice is over at that new bar, the one Cinder, Sundown, and Valentine are at.
The inclusive bar.
Yeah.
Well, I can't have that. When you're done with that, when you're done with Hugo, bring Rice over.
Okay. I think it sounds like you're going ahead and rolling fingers in every pie as well. To bring Rice to the cage.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. Let's see how that goes. Can I get one of these? All right. Now, if I roll another 11, something's rigged here. But let's see.
Yeah. Okay. The bouncer who, let's go ahead and give him a name. Let's call him Doghead.
Perfect.
Wait, Doghead already one of my names, I think. Let me just look.
Oh,
I wrote down a bunch of names for different things. Doghead might be one of my informants, which is fine.
he can be both.
Doghead is my biggest fan of my station.
Oh yeah.
I kind of like that he's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I like that too. That's kind of awesome.
Okay, so Doghead will bring Rice to the cage, but meanwhile, at the other place, actually, someone should come up with a name with it. Valentine, Sundown. Any ideas on the place's name?
I was looking for.
Well, I was just thinking we were calling it the Good Place already. We can just call it that.
All right.
It's kind of like
Release the new.
it's kind of like Greenland. Like it was sort of a way to attract people to. Yeah. So, this is the good place. You want to come here.
So yeah, Cinder's having a nice time. Cinder's gotten into it. A couple drinks deep, and they're like, "Yes, yes, this is a good place. Thank you for bringing me here, friends." And just sort of a hearty slap on the back for both of you.
I'm also picturing there are other people with mutations here, so it's definitely seeming more inclusive. And despite how I've talked the place up, I'm extremely uncomfortable here, and starting to feel some anxiety about all the brain activity, right? Sort of overhearing people's thoughts and things like that. But I've virtually no social skills, so I'm concerned about sort of being able to excuse myself.
What about you, Valentine? I mean, there were no mutants on the fleet, and now you're in a room full of them.
Yeah. Well, the right now, what's kind of being balanced is that it's getting later in the day, and I have not yet secured my any place to stay. So I'm planning on sticking around here, and I think I have an angle to work with Cinder. Once I
Up
get
today?
them. What's that?
Did you just wake up today?
No, no, a few weeks, but I've been basically couch surfing. So every day I have to figure out where I'm staying for the time being. But I my plan is to maybe hook hook Cinder into letting me be his financial dom.
All right. Uh, Sounds like you're trying to seduce someone. So
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead and roll hot.
All right. No, no, that is a 4. Although I
Good
do
to the
get
club.
it's same exact thing I rolled last time.
Rough night for rolls.
Yeah.
You know, I think the you're trying to be subtle about this, a little classy, not quite blatantly saying like, "Hey, I want to stay at your place." And the problem is, it's going right over Cinder's head. They are picking up none of this. Uh,
Okay.
and another person walks over. You've seen this person around the market a little bit. They're a guard for another stall.
Mm-hmm.
Their name is Harrow, if that's not taken.
Not by me.
Uh, Harrow walks over and is like, "Hey, why are you paying attention to this boring Cinder fellow? I guarantee you I can show you a much better time." And Harrow grins and shows off. He's got like 3 or 4 canines.
Okay. I am going to the angle I'm taking with Harrow is like I am letting him entertain me. I'm trying to reverse the power dynamic in the transaction. So he's doing me a favor, or I'm doing him a favor by letting him, um, you know, pay for me to have a room and buy me drinks.
All right, I think you're doing it under fire, just trying to like keep your composure, look like above it all.
Okay. All right. Let's see. 6 plus 3, 9.
All right. So you flinch, hesitate, or stall. Uh, I'm gonna say, huh? Any suggestions for a worse bargain or a worse outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice?
I have a thought. That instead of the as I had laid out, it's rather that this person uh like they're letting me take advantage of the situation, and but like they actually do know what the that I'm the weaker party in the negotiation, but they're letting it play the other way, and might cash that in later.
I think that sounds good. And Sundown, you're right there next to all the flirting going right over Cinder's head, and the sudden disappointment when like, oh, this other mutant gets Valentine's attention. Oh, I think I'm gonna ask you to do something under fire too, to maintain your composure under all this heightened emotions.
Yeah, I think I'm annoyed because I bought this processor specifically for Val. And I had to cash in a favor to get, to not really a favor, but I had to sort of make some effort to introduce Cinder to this establishment. I'm definitely feeling under fire here, and I feel like I'm not getting any recognition for this. So I'm gonna roll plus cool, and I'm gonna roll 2d6. That will be orange when they come up. Okay, so I rolled a 7, and my cool is 1, so that's an 8.
Okay. I'm gonna offer you a worse outcome, hard bargain, or ugly choice as well. Feel free to toss out ideas if anyone in the group has them.
Well, I think what I was doing.
What's the goal of what you're doing?
Yeah, I think I wanted to kind of jump in, and I was trying to work up the courage to kind of jump in and say, "Hey, Val, you can just stay with me." But again, as someone who's not good in social situations, I stalled. So I kind of spit it out. It's because I succeeded, but I did it poorly and too late. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, I think if you spit it out at this late point, Harrow's gonna be pretty angry that like, oh, you're cutting in now.
I like it. Val, was that what you had in mind?
That works. I think so this is the kind of geometry of how I'm and I think this is going to become kind of an approach that I'm taking with this character, but what I'm going to try to do is then use Sundown as like armor against Harrow by like relying on the ambiguity of the arrangement to say, oh well, of course you're including my friend Harrow here in this. So like essentially like it relieves me of any obligation because I've got two people who both think that they've got my attention.
Right.
And they'll kind of bounce off each other, and I'll come off not really obligated to either one.
I like it.
Okay. Harrow's like, you know what? I don't think you're in the right place, Sundown. Don't think you belong here, do you?
What are you talking about? What do you mean? Everyone is welcome in the good place.
I don't know. I mean, he smiles again, and he's making a point now of showing off all the extra fang teeth, and just I think you'd be better off if you left.
I have as much right to be here as anyone else. I'm gonna stay, and I would back off a little bit. Val owes me, so they're going to stay in my place tonight.
All right. I think you're. You know what? Yeah. Uh, Harold's gonna like look at you, look back at Val, and back and forth like, fine. But you get the impression as he walks away, he's gonna remember this. Okay, Thamash, the interview with Hugo is wrapping up. He's fielded some
Yeah, we're
calls from.
we're just gonna have for time. Hey, Hugo, Hugo of the fleet. Thank you so much for coming tonight and telling telling us telling us about your beliefs, and it sounds like you want the best for us all. And we'll kind of see you around town.
You will see
hoping that
much of the
this is
faithful.
what?
You will see much of
Something
the
about
faithful.
Oh, okay. That's not what I thought you said. This is kind of like
yeah. If you're done with him,
the religious canvas, and you think, oh, I want some cheap entertainment. I'm going to invite them in, but I sure hope they leave.
yeah. If you're not done with the interview, he heads out.
Well, that was that was another episode of the Open Mic, folks. If you have anyone you want to see next next cycle, bring them over or let me know and I'll track them down.
But after he heads out,
I'm probably.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna head over to the which it sounds like I'm less familiar with, the Good Place.
Okay. I think you arrive right around the time that Doghead is heading out with Rice. And he's just like, oh, hey Thamash!
Did you just do the show with the Wacko? How you doing?
Yeah. I never miss an episode. Great interview. Way to be professional with that guy while he's, spewing about this heavenly fleet nonsense. You really handled him well.
Well, listening to people is a skill that I have. Better for me listen to him than listen to him directly, I figure.
Yeah, you got that right. I am not looking forward to that guy coming back and doing more of his preaching.
Yeah, I hope that he's not right about a whole horde of coming. That could be a problem. I mean, they can try to talk people into not fraternizing, but if they try to stop people from fraternizing, there'll be some problems.
Yeah, it's not like we don't have enough problems already. And Doghead is gonna nod his head towards Rice, who he's got standing near him.
Oh, hey Rice, what's up?
Nothing.
I don't know anything about this Rice stuff. Did you say nothing?
Yeah. Rice just sort of slurs out, makes big, extravagant gestures. Rice is clearly very drunk right now. Nothing's up. Everything's great. Having the time of my life over here.
Really? So your business is going well?
Business is
the little rice shoots are coming up? Okay, so I want to try to read that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll sharp.
Yes, I have. Fortunately, I'm one of those people with way too many tabs open on their computer, so it takes me some time to find anything. All right, I'm going to do a re-roll here. They've got to roll high someday. 7 plus 1. All right, so partial
All right,
success.
you get to ask one.
Um, um, so I don't have the list in front. So what do I get is the sense that he's hiding or unhappy about. I mean, he's very obviously being sarcastic about something.
Sorry,
so
I was
what's
trying
he
to make him be.
What's
I was trying to make him sound sincere. He is genuinely happy, because he's
okay.
got 2 bars now, 2 competitors for his business. He's planning to like play them off against each other and try to like drive the price up, because he's
So
one of the main
he's the only
providers
rice.
of not the only rice dealer, but the biggest one in town, and he's figures if he plays them against each other, he can make a tidy profit.
Okay, well that's interesting. So, well, I'm just going to put this out to you, and maybe you can sort of make this happen. My character is interested is kind of a standard media the media, and he wants to challenge Saffron on his anti stuff, because everybody's good enough to listen to the radio or whatever they're listening to. And I'm looking for ways to put pressure on Saffron to be his establishment. And I'm wondering either to find some kind of leverage into it, find that his suppliers aren't so interested in him if he's going to be so discriminating. So I'm not sure I want to talk to Rice right now because he's too wasted to act real conversation. And also, and Dogface's dog head. Dog is my fan, but I know he's going to say anything. He's not going to be any quieter around Saffron than I am. So anyway, I'm just letting you know that that's an observation that I've made, and I'm thinking about it. Opportunity to make something like that work. I might want to talk to Rice when he's more sober.
Okay. Well, just so you know, Rice clearly has no loyalty to Saffron herself. He's only in it for the money, and he'll do anything that seems likely to make him more. So if you could convince him that serving mutants would, make him more money in the end, he'll do that, and happy to back anything in his own interest.
Does he have workers?
Yes. Yeah, he's got a fair number of people who work his hydroponics lab, yeah.
Interesting.
All right. I think after, saying hello to you, Doghead escorts Rice over to the cage. And, yeah, Saffron, Rice just swaggers in here like the cat that ate the canary. He's very happy.
So the other are pretty new, I guess. Or
yeah.
To ordering them.
And yeah, I think Saffron, when she sees him come in, just like, oh, and a toast to the prodigal grain supplier. Thanks for showing up. How you doing?
I am doing great. What about you? Are supplies running low? That would be a damn shame.
Not so much low as late. I was worried about you.
Oh, I'm
Everything
doing
okay?
fine. No need to worry. I'm just fine.
Well, that's good. I think she's like leaning against the like over the bar still, and she's like, "Well, I can see that, but you know, um, kind of slow. Do you want to come back to my office? Maybe we should have a business chat."
I think that'd be real nice. I have reason to think that prices might go up in the future.
Hmm.
Wow.
Well, you always have the kookiest ideas, Rice. Come on back.
All right, Rice heads back with you.
Yeah, and I think I mean, it's got to be just the stereotypical. She has like one of these like trays of where you make a drink for people. It's like, yeah, have a seat. Go ahead. I'll get you a drink. And I think she just serves some actual water. It's like, here you go. It's like I don't maybe take a little the edge off. It's important to make very sound decisions, especially in this little town. Could notice you're late. I guess might be going to that place across town, the mutant place.
Well, what can I say? They made me a great offer.
Yeah, and what's that?
Well, they really needed some grain, and I found out that I actually had some to spare. I mean, you didn't need that right away, did you?
Well, hey, and then I think she goes and sits down. I'm imagining like there's like a little like just garbage couch, or maybe it's just like the salvaged seats from like one of these spaceships, with like holes and everything. And she kind of sits down like opposite him, so she's kind of leaning across this like salvage table kind of thing. She's like, you know, I don't mind that any access stuff goes to them. It's everyone can tell you I've got a big heart, especially for the people on the outskirts. They have it rougher. This planet's hard. Some people born here, they have it even harder. I understand. I'm sympathetic. I understand any access goes to them, and I hope that you make some in the meantime. Well, we have kind of a deal. I need my stuff on time. Mine's a little busier. And I don't mind them showing up here, but if they're in the cage fighting someone, a lot of them have extra advantages. Just the balance of life. They have it kind of rough, but some of them have claws. They got teeth. That one freak's got that hard skin. It's a little kind of cheating, isn't it? And if they go upstairs, some of the girls, some of the boys, they have kind of different opinions about doing that kind of stuff with them. They're not totally opposed to it, but I don't want to ask them. I feel bad doing it, So I understand that they have their situation over there. It's fine. But you got to make sure this whole town here, most people come here first. And if people aren't getting drinks, what I got to tell them? If you're late, I got to tell them that you're late. And they're going to be angry at you. So I'm kind of looking out for you. This can't happen again, Bryce, is what I'm saying. You understand?
You're definitely trying to manipulate him. Go ahead
Yeah,
and
for sure.
roll hot.
Oh, I knew my luck would run out eventually. Yeah, there's a 6.
A 6. Okay. Uh, Rice's mood. He was a happy drunk, but it's suddenly turning to an angry drunk, and he's like, I'm sick of you throwing your weight around. You were the only bar in town, but you're not anymore. And you know what? Turns out I'm the biggest grain vendor in town. So you say people are going to be angry at me? I think they'll be more angry at you. You know what? I think I need to drive home. Who's in charge now? You're cut off. No more grain for the cage. Until you really
Oh, that
understand
was
how
cool.
much you need me.
Well, and she kind of takes both these glasses, puts them back, and she's like, "No, I'm sorry to hear that. I guess we're done."
For now, looking forward to seeing you again. If you need me, I'll be at the good place.
And I think when he like closes the door, she like smashes that against the wall. Like,
All right. We're getting pretty close to the end of the 3 hour block. Any scenes anyone wants to fit in before we close?
I would just like to position uh, Sundown at the cage. She followed um, uh, Rice, Doghead and Rice, back to the cage. Um, I'm gonna, and we can play this as a flashback or however you want to do it, Kyle. But I feel like Rice is going to become sort of a major player, and I'm wondering if at some point in the recent past she read his mind and discovered that he was up to some kind of no good. So I've got a special interest in keeping an eye on Rice, and when I saw him at the good place, I became suspicious. So I followed him back to the cage. So I am there. I'm just sitting at the bar, sitting at a table, watching what's happening, just waiting for Rice and or Saffron to come out. Any objections?
Uh, no, I don't think so. Anyone else have any objections? No. Um,
No.
what's
No, I
your
think I'm going to be back at the cage as well. I think looking for sponsors in the good place is not really to my taste. So
So I am. So one of my informants is named Tom, and I asked Tum Tum to go over to the, the hydroponics and find me a worker to interview. I'm interested in the most, whichever one has the biggest axe to grind,
okay?
or if there's one who looks like they're more of a leader, I'd want to interview them.
Uh, yeah, yeah. I think Tom Tom finds. Yeah, one of the workers is Kettle, and oh, Tom Tom like barely says hello before Kettle starts complaining. Like, oh, this Rice guy. I mean, he's running us ragged. I the the tanks can only take so much. He is upping output ridiculously, and he's just trying to work the meat to death to match the steel. It's ridiculous.
All right. So we'll be revisiting that. I mean, I don't know if you want what I would have Tom Tom invite him on my show for me, or I can go seek him out, kind of whichever seems sort of more interesting. But it sounds like he'd want to be on. It sounds like he's someone who'd want to be on the
Uh,
radio.
I mean, Kettle, she's happy to complain, but going on the radio to complain about her boss, that's a bridge too far. You'd probably have to talk her into that personally.
Okay. So we can for next time, or do you want to do? Do you want to play it now as a kind of a quickie, or
Let's set that up for next time, I think. We can
okay?
do that maybe as a flashback or something.
All right.
And right, so Sundown, did you want to do any kind of like roll to read Rice or anything, or did you want to?
I don't. We can if you want. My assumption was this was something that happened maybe weeks ago, and so she sort of always had her eye on Rice. It also may be something that she just sort of made up in her head that she didn't actually necessarily read from him. So
Okay,
she's got suspicions. We don't know where they came from.
sounds good. Valentine, Saffron, anything else before we wrap?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording.
Oh, are we doing HX before then?
Yes. Actually, we should do that before I stop the recording. Good point. Okay. Let me pull up the move. Okay, at the end of every session, choose a character who knows you better than they used to. If there's more than one, choose one at your whim. Let's start. Let's do reverse character order this time. Sundown. Who knows you better?
Oh, I'm definitely going to say Val knows me better.
Okay.
I don't know that I even need to explain that.
All right. Val, you add +1 to your HX
Got it.
with. Yeah. Okay. And that brings us to Tamash.
Well, I'd have to say that Saffron knows me better.
Yeah, that pushed me over.
Oh, nice.
What, do you get an experience for that?
Yeah, if HX ever gets to 4, it resets to 1, and you gain an advancement.
Or negative
Okay.
3, right?
Or -3, yeah.
So I don't put that under that. I don't put that under my HX. He puts it under his HX.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Saffron, who knows you better?
Yeah, I think the same situation. I think I'm going to give it to Tomash.
Sounds good.
So then I add one to my Saffron.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And lastly, Valentine.
I'm going to have to give it to Sundown.
Makes sense. Okay. I don't think anyone has any other session end moves, so gonna stop the recording. All right. Goodbye, everyone.